Okay, good evening, everybody, once again, and welcome to today's class. So, in today's class, um, we'll be talking about Bicep and automation for deployment of Bicep code. So, first and first, I will talk about what we have been doing for the past weeks. We have really been working on infrastructure as a code, and for the past previous weeks, we have worked on writing our Bicep codes. And I believe by now, uh, every one of us are conversant with Bicep as infrastructure as a code. And also, today I'll be showing you how to deploy that code and also create your infrastructure using that code. That's number one. Number two is I'm going to show you how to use CI/CD pipeline to get it done also. So you have the manual way of deploying it, and also you have another way of which involve using CI/CD pipeline to deploy it. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying, everybody? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's uh, what we'll be having for today. So I'll be sharing my screen to show you guys how it's been done. So please hold on. This one, sorry, please. Okay, now let's copy, paste, and get ready. Okay, clear. So firstly, I'll talk about the prerequisite of deploying your Bicep code. Please let me know where you can see my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen before I continue. I'm waiting. Please let me know you can see it.
I see a scroll.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good. So the prerequisite of you deploying your Bicep code. Number one, you must have a valid Azure subscription, meaning that you have a Azure subscription that has maybe it's a free subscription where you have the $200 free subscription, or you are having a paid subscription where you do pay as you go. So that's the options that are available for you, depending on the subscription you have on Azure. But firstly, you must have a valid Azure subscription. That's number one. Number two, you must have a contributor access. Contributor access means that you have access to create resource in Azure Cloud. Not that you are just a reader. You need to be a contributor access. You're supposed to have a contributor access to be able to create that particular resource you are deploying in Azure. So you should not have any blockers and so on and so forth. Also, I want us to look at this code that we developed previously. So we talked about our main file, submodule, and so on and so forth about it. I will just point on our README and just talk about what we have in there. Firstly, from our main file here, this is our main file. Please note our main file. What we have in our main file here is our deployment. Sorry, our code parameters, and also two things that we are deploying from our main file majorly is our resource group and our submodule. We talked about that in our previous class. If you need to brush up on that aspect also. Also, we talk about our parameters.json, where we keep our variables. You understand? Where we keep our variables. For instance, we talk about this, our cap prefix, our resource group name, subscription ID, and so on and so forth. Please note that one. Also, lastly, when you want to start this deployment process manually, the first thing you should do is go to your terminal. It can be PowerShell or Bash, but I would prefer use PowerShell. Just write this command az login. Can you see it? Az login. Once you press az login and press enter, you follow the prompts. You understand? Let me just show you how mine works. Okay, it's going to bring out a pop-up. So here is the pop-up it brought out. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? So this is the pop-up it brought out. I just click on this pop-up and I click on continue. That's everything I'm going to do from the pop-up it brought out. So continue, and also it's going to load. It has signed in. It's going to bring out all the subscriptions I have available under my account. Okay, still retrieving. Okay, so I have only one valid subscription available. I'll just click on enter. If I have like 4, 5, 6 subscription, I can now choose the subscription by writing the number. If it's subscription 2, I can just write 2 and enter. If it's subscription 3 I'm working on, I'll just choose the number and enter. But for this, I am working on subscription 1. I just click 1 and enter. And that's all. That's how you log in from your terminal. Please, you understand the login process. That's one. The next thing again is that ensure that you have this extension called Bicep on your DS code. These extensions, Bicep, can you see it? Bicep from Microsoft. Please ensure you have this extension on your VS code. The next thing again you are going to do is that you go to your main.bicep file. This is what I want to deploy. My main.bicep file. I'm just right click on it. And after that, I'll say deploy bicep file. Can you see it? Deploy bicep file. I'll just click on it, enter, deploy bicep file. Once I click on deploy bicep file, it's going to bring out a pop-up right up here. You can see this. I can rename it based on what I want to deploy, any one of it. You understand? I can say, okay, I want to deploy testing. Let me just call it testing, or I can call it any name I choose to call it. You understand? Testing and so on and so forth, based on what I want to deploy. Okay, so for this tutorial, I can just leave it at main. Sorry, main, and and so on and so forth. And after that, I click on enter. It's still loading. Please be looking at this lower part of it. Immediately I clicked on that deploy bicep code, this came up. Please, you guys will be looking at this downside also. Now it has bring a pop-up again for I should choose the subscription I want to deploy to. I'm choosing this subscription ID, this Virtual Studio Enterprise subscription. Enter. And after it is asking me what should be the location. I choose to prefer West US 2. You can choose any of the Azure subscription, location that is available. You understand? There's a lot of locations available here, but I choose to use West US 2. And it's asking me for my parameters or JSON file. Where is it? And here is my parameters or JSON file. This is it, main.parameter.json. So I'm selecting it here, and that's the main thing is asking me. The next thing you are going to see again, the next thing you see here again is that you see it's going to start the deployment process on the background. Please just note it. Can you see it? It has responded. Deployment started. Open deployment importer, waiting for deployment to complete, and so on and so forth. Can you see it? We are waiting for the deployment to complete. Okay, so this deployment failed. So how you can get what is going on during the deployment? So there are difference between bicep deployment and on that type of IAC deployment. For instance, if you are using Terraform, you'll be seeing the processes that are going on from your terminal. Yeah, But in terms of Biceps, you may not see it. You need to go log into Azure Portal to see the processes that is going on. So now, how do you get to Azure Portal to see what is going on? You see this deployment. It says open deployment importer. All you just put your arrow on top of this link, press your control button on your keyboard, and click on it. It's going to load it. Sorry, it has loaded it on my screen here. So it's still loading. So here is it. Yes, loading. So this is it. It's still loading. It's still loading. It is taking me straight to my deployment on Azure Portal. But it's still loading. Okay, I think we are good. So first thing first, you should look at, is this deployment the deployment I'm actually doing? Look at the deployment name. You can see the deployment name is correct, right? The time the deployment started, and solution ID, and so on and so forth. You can look at the parameters. Also, in my main.tf file that you can look at here, I'm deploying two things. Number one, I'm deploying my resource group. Number two, I am deploying my submodule. You understand? So when you look at my my distance, has deployed my resource group appropriately, and my resource group is working. I can click on it. Let me open it in new tab. Open my resource group in new tab. So it's still loading. I want to confirm if my resource group was deployed appropriately. Okay. So resource group deployment. Under my resource group deployment, you can see that it's telling me that, okay, my resource group has been deployed correctly. It's deployed this resource group, testing resource group. You can see it. Go back to my code. You can see on my parameters.json, I said that my resource group name is what? Testing resource group, and deployed it appropriately. You can see my resource group is deployed appropriately. I can go and look at my resource group. I can just click on it, and this is the resource group that was created. I'm coming. Yes, it's sorry. Go to resource group. Test resource group. So this is the resource group that was created using the Bicep code. The resource group is presently empty, kind of, but I just want to show you guys that it actually worked. That's number one. Well, we can come back to check it later. The next thing we want to check again, we have talked about resource group. The next thing is my submodule. Look at the next thing is my submodule. I've talked about in my main.bicep file. I said that we have resource group, and the next thing we have is what? Our submodule. So you know that in our submodule we have different resources inside it. So now we can go to our submodule. My submodule failed. I will come back to look at the error why it failed. So this is my submodule deployment. My submodule deployment. Okay. So my submodule deployment, under it I have details. My submodule deployment failed. What am I doing in my submodule deployment? I am deploying what is called app service in my submodule deployment. Can you guys see how I got here? Good. So the request failed because of I had a bad request. The cause of the failure means bad request. That is a 404. No, 404 is unavailable. So I think it's 401 is unauthorized. I think it's a 400 bad request. So nevertheless, we go to the error details. I'm still waiting for the um I'm still waiting for the error details to come out. But we knew that we had a bad request. Nevertheless, that's error 400. I think because of the network. Let me click on it again. Please let me just refresh this page. I think we're having a network glitch. So out of the two deployments I was doing, firstly, deployment for my resource group. Secondly, deployment for the other resources I want to deploy. Under the other submodule that I have, I am deploying my app service. That's the only thing I'm actually deploying in there. Now, while deploying my app service, I got an error, bad request. So I want to check what is the request I made that is actually bad. Error details. Okay, good. Can you see it? So this is the reason why my deployment failed. You can see that in Bicep code, you can't see the error from the terminal. You see, I didn't say anything about the error on the terminal here. You have to log on to Azure portal to be able to see the error for yourself. That is how Bicep actually works. Sorry, that is how the code is actually programmed to work. So now you have this error saying that validation for a resource, click error details, blah, 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 blah. It said operation cannot be completed without additional quota. Additional details, location, current limit, total VM, 0, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me now explain what this error actually means. So I'm using a particular subscription. The subscription I'm using is kind of a Microsoft owned subscription. So I have a quota of what I can deploy in this subscription per time. Do you understand? So that is the reason why this deployment being failed. Doesn't mean the code is bad. The code is actually right. But, quote and unquote, but the subscription I'm using, which is a Microsoft free subscription for teaching and training, is having a quota. And I think I've exceeded my quota for the past previous months in view. So that's the reason why I can't deploy this app service. But maybe if I have any other resource, I'll try to deploy it and I'll let you guys see it also. Maybe I'll just comment out the app service, deploy something that doesn't need quote and unquote, it doesn't need this VM to work. Maybe a storage account, something like that. But I've showed you guys how to deploy the Bicep code manually from your DS code. Anybody that has any question based on this one that I just explained, so I can answer that before we move to the second deployment method. Anybody? So I want you guys to note our assignment for this week is that one, we are going to the Bicep code that we have written, we are going to create a Azure subscription this week. Like this week, we have to create an Azure subscription this week, and we will have to deploy the code manually. Firstly, manually. Secondly, we have to deploy it using this thing, what do I call it? Automation process. So for the manual process, all what you will do is that the for the manual process, the resource group name, you can call it anything hyphen manual. You understand? You can use for the manual deployments, you can use anything hyphen manual for the manual deployment, and for the automated deployment, you can now use hyphen automate. Let me give you an instance. For the manual deployment that you are deploying from your personal your system, just use hyphen in the resource group, put hyphen manual for the resource group, and the capex, you can change your capex to hyphen m, so I will know that it is manual. So when you are using the automated one that involves CI/CD pipeline, you can change from manual to CI/CD, and you just put this one as CI/CD. Please, do you understand? So you will deploy manually your same code, and you deploy that same code automatically. That will be the assignment for this week. So anybody have any question based on this manual method? I thought before I proceed to show you guys how to deploy it automatically. Anybody? Anybody, please. I don't want to believe that everybody understood what I just showed now. Except you guys are gurus. Okay. I believe that everybody understood what I just showed for the manual deployment process.